Have you ever felt the slow suffocation of procrastination? How it quietly destroys the person you could be? It's not just about the assignment that you started too late, or the essay deadline you missed, or even the hole in the roof that you didn't fix. It's the life you could have lived, the business you never started, the friends and relationships that passed you by, the success you never reached, not because you failed, but because you never even tried. It's a thief that creeps into our lives and silently robs us of our potential. We'd never let another person do that to us. So why do we let procrastination do it, and how can we stop it? This book will help. I've spent the last few months reading about and researching procrastination, and the last few decades trying to deal with it, and this is the best book that I have found on the subject. I think it could really help cure you of your procrastination. I'm going to show you why I like it, share some of its insights, and tell you who I think it's for. And remember, you can always get these books from a library, you don't have to buy them. Libraries are great, I'm a member of several, and I usually have a couple of library books on loan. So who's the author? Is it someone we should listen to? Yes, it is. Dr. Fuchsia Sirois is a professor of psychology, and she's been researching procrastination for more than 20 years. Now, the book has 3 parts. Part 1 is how procrastination affects your life. It looks into that. Part 2 is when and why people procrastinate. And then part 3 is the evidence-based strategies to help you stop procrastinating. And we will come to those. The book starts by distinguishing the difference between delay and procrastination. So the idea is that if you intentionally delay something to improve it, then that's not procrastination. But if the result of the delay is that it'll be worse off or you'll be worse off and you know that, then that is procrastination. But it's a little bit of a blurry line, especially for me, because research, like legitimate research, can become procrastination as I stray off topic and start reading reviews about Geek Girl rather than doing research on procrastination. And what about taking breaks? You have to do that, right? But breaks can become procrastination deserts. Is it a break, or is it just a convenient excuse to procrastinate? The book covers that too. It's well researched, and reading it you discover that the causes of procrastination are not poor time management or laziness. They're due to poor mood management. We procrastinate to avoid the negative feelings associated with doing a task that we don't really want to do. So you have to ask yourself, are you avoiding the task or the negative emotions associated with it? But that benefit is only short-lived, and then yet again we feel the guilt of not doing what we set out to do, and it becomes a vicious circle. And it can cause real health problems, physical and mental, whether that's putting off going to see a doctor or a therapist, or other problems. Research in 2018 looked at people who use online video platforms to procrastinate. I'm saying nothing. And the results were interesting. People procrastinate by watching videos that make them feel good, but the results are short-lived. And then the subsequent feeling of guilt, frustration, and self-criticism and not getting the task done can have a serious negative impact on psychological health. But you might have known that. Studies showing the negative impacts of procrastination are everywhere. And for students who've slipped into chronic procrastination, it doesn't just affect their grades, they're more likely to cheat and lie about needing deadline extensions. Chronic procrastination can lead to a lower salary, higher levels of depression, stress, poor sleep, and even poor heart health. I wish I had better news. Actually, I do. That's coming. But first of all, take a look at these cat videos. The book's aim is to help you understand procrastination, and it spends a whole section delving into the causes. And one cause that it highlights in particular is how connected you feel to your future self. And it's not surprising that people who feel less connected to their future selves are more likely to procrastinate. And a lot of procrastinators have this sort of innate belief that their future self has some kind of superpower that they don't have, and it means that it'll be able to do the task that they can't do much more effectively and in a much shorter amount of time than their current self, which is obviously nonsense. I spend a lot of time researching these videos, and one thing that really helps is Opera. No, I don't mean that. I mean the Opera browser. Look, it's got built-in AI. You just click here, type your question, how can I stop procrastinating? And there, you get the answer. Pretty good. I ask it to tell me what are the most effective study techniques, and within seconds they appear. Feynman technique, quizzing yourself. Yep, that's right. It has other stuff too, like tab islands. Now, I know you probably have 100 tabs open all the time. This way, you can allocate tabs to tab islands. It's just much more efficient. This is a fantastic feature because it means you can group all your topics together. It's great for research. I used it for researching this video. It has other features built in, like an ad blocker and a VPN to keep you safe online. It'll turn you into a one-person productivity powerhouse, and it's free, so why wouldn't you try it? Click on my link in the description and try the Opera browser free. It's not just a task that we don't like because it makes us feel bad that's responsible for procrastination. It's also linked to our feelings about ourselves. Low self-esteem, perfectionism, and self-criticism play a big role, as does task uncertainty. What can we do about it? Well, that's part 3 of the book. And here it gets actually a little bit difficult because although there are ways that work, the way that's best suited to you will depend on what's causing your procrastination, which is why the book spends such a long time delving into its causes. The first step is mindset, and the book says that you need to be compassionate to yourself. You're not the first person to procrastinate, and what you're going through is a common experience. And this will help you to take positive steps, unlike the more usual feelings of remorse, stress, and shame. Recent studies show that if you can increase your self-compassion, you will reduce your tendency to procrastinate. And research also shows that increased self-compassion leads to greater motivation, and in fact is more effective than just trying to be positive or being self-critical. And it's a very effective way of achieving your goals. A slight caveat to that is that people who aren't self-compassionate tend to be quite dismissive about its benefits, and they can't cultivate that feeling. But the book teaches ways of developing self-compassion. There are more concrete steps, and they're coming in the next section, but they're more effective if you address the underlying causes of procrastination, which is what these steps do. And the next one is self-forgiveness, and this has been shown by research to be very effective. First, you accept that you procrastinated and that you're unhappy with yourself. Next, you allow yourself to experience the negative feelings associated with that, and then you overcome them. And this process of self-forgiveness is an effective way of reducing procrastination. Research shows that we are bad at predicting our near-future emotions, and they tend to be far less intense than we expect. There's a name for it. It's called intensity bias. So how you expect to feel is not a good indication of how you're going to feel during that task. Remind yourself of that. Here are some concrete steps from the book to reduce procrastination, but they work best if you've done all the other stuff first, so don't just jump to these. Anyway, here they are. Define the task. Uncertainty around a task can lead to procrastination, so to avoid that, make sure you know exactly what the task involves. The next step that the book advises is to break large tasks into smaller ones, and this has 2 benefits. So what you might do is if you have an essay to write, instead of thinking, I've got to write an essay, think, right, I need to research an essay, I need to write the plan of an essay, an outline of the essay, then I need to write the introduction, and then I need to write the middle bit, and then the conclusion. Now, that makes it easier because you're not just taking on one big task, but also as you progress through those smaller tasks and do them successfully, that gives you confidence for the next task, and so you get this sort of forward momentum that helps you get through the whole task. Step 3 is your environment. You need an environment without distractions. So I can work from home, but I don't work from home because my home is so full of distractions that I can't actually work here. So I realised a little while ago that I needed an office. It's got nothing in it apart from a desk and a pad of paper, a pen and a laptop. I can get about 10 times the amount of work done in the office than I can at home because there's no kitchen full of biscuits or a TV or films or music or instruments to distract me. Create a distraction-free work environment. And step number 4 is start. Start your task now, even if you only do it for 5 minutes. Who's the book for? If you're a casual procrastinator, you probably don't need the book. I'm sure you're aware of some of the techniques, you've probably tried them, and you're probably on top of your procrastination. But if you're a chronic procrastinator, and you've tried some of the methods that you've read about or seen online, and they haven't worked, and you want to understand more about what causes your procrastination, why you do it, and other techniques in order to overcome it and kick that habit and make the concrete steps work better for you, then I think this book would be excellent. But, get it from a library first. As I said, don't buy it until you know that it works for you. So go to a library, get the book, see how it is for you, and then if you like it, you can always buy it then. If you made it this far, you might like a closer look at the book. Let's do that now. Okay, so here it is. One of the things I like about it is that it's not that long. So I think that's quite good for a book on procrastination. It's about 240 pages or so. It's quite an accessible read. And if you want to go deeper, it has references at the back. So if it refers to some research that you'd like to take further and read more about, you can do that. It doesn't have chapter summaries at the end, which I think it should, but you could always write your own summaries. Actually, that'd be a really good way of engaging with the book. But what it does have are these exercises which help to highlight the points that it's trying to make. So if you're a chronic procrastinator, I think that would be quite useful for you. And hopefully just by having a look at this, you can get a pretty good idea of what sort of book it is.